This is the Dzogchen Sunday Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. It is General Lea Organa Saturday evening. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi after chanting the meditation classics Pure Golden Ore, followed by Cuckoo's Song of Pure Presence. Now, it is most sustainable to chant from the diaphragm. The effortless way to do that is to touch the tip of our left thumb to its left ring finger, resting the wrist upon the left thigh, and touching the tip of the right thumb to the right ring finger, resting the wrist upon the right thigh. Doing this effortlessly causes our subtle energies to coalesce behind our navel. Together, luminous mind inexpressible beyond conceptualization. As the light of the teacher is extolled by all, as the heart of experience is like gentle prince. The more we practice mindfulness and meditation in harmony with our respective inhalations and exhalations, the more we cannot help but notice impermanence and emptiness viscerally during each exhalation. And as such, our ultimate teacher is simply the eighth and ninth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, mindfulness and meditation. For they also help us to effortlessly practice, to effortlessly bring the four bases of mindfulness, the mental, the interpersonal, the physical, the circumstantial, and into the path of love. Resting in the spontaneous pleasure of effortless great completion. The more we the more we cooperate with our natural tendencies to practice mindfulness and meditation during our respective inhalations and exhalations, the more our choices and utterances and deeds flow, not from calculated contrivance, nor from wild scatteredness, but instead from love's deeply centered spontaneity. This is known as right effort, or effortless effort, or doing without doing, or wu wei, or going with the flow, or being in the zone. And it is the key to effortless ethics. Together, as the basis of all disciplines such as love's moral conduct, luminous mind provides release in its every mode. The more we passively, vulnerably, viscerally, and randomly cooperate with our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems by noticing and relaxing in harmony with our breathing, the more the aggression and the anxiety and aggression of our amygdala is calmed, and the empathy of our anterior cingulate gyrus is gently stimulated. The love is the essence of morality. Perhaps that is why it comprises 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. And ironically, the more we notice and relax in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalations, the more we automatically practice kind intention, kind communication, kind conduct, and kind commerce. Together. It is like a Buddha's mother and the universal path. Without it, Buddhahood could not be accomplished. With it, we are the way of supreme liberation. What do we mean by we are the way of supreme liberation? Every time we relax into our exhalation, we bring whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation into the path of meditation, regardless of whether that which we noticed was external, internal, or physical, or mental, or pleasurable, or painful, or interesting, or boring, or glorious, or grotesque. Together. Subtle and elusive, this universal path transcends the duality of thinking and non-thinking. Without location or reference and determinant, it is beyond all conceptualization. Unutterable, it has no color or shape or sensory field. Intangible and inscrutable, it is inexpressible. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever thinking or not thinking we noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if they were melting into the simplicity of mental action. Together. Whoever follows, see, that's kind of difficult, isn't it? However and whoever. However, whoever follows the path of the ancient ascetics becomes sick from attachment to that contrivance of active focusing, that rigid interpretation of the teacher's instructions is experienced as an arduous quest. As they chase a stream of beliefs and concepts as if pursuing a mirage. But this complete modality cannot be indicated by mere words. And any grasping at so-called true doctrine makes a travesty of Vajrasattva, the archetype of simply noticing and relaxing. The key to mindfulness, let me rephrase this. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access the middle bit of our spinal cord, which functions as the core of our sympathetic nervous system. It has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which is antithetical to patriarchy. Together, purity and impurity as one inseparably mixed, pristine awareness as well as bewilderment are indivisible. This lamp of unimpeded clarity free of conceptualization, along with obstinate befuddlement, In and of themselves, each feat powerful meditation. As we relax into our exhale, one moment, this is a good opportunity for an edit. Please bear with me. 1, 2, 3. On second thought, not so much. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever clarity, conceptualization, or befuddlement we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if they were melting into the simplicity of just mental action. Together. This eye of direct insight seeing directly sees merely an empty nothing, yet it is called the Buddha eye of omniscience. So know the empty nature of vastness without center or boundary, for here lies undiscriminating, powerful non-duality. What do we mean by emptiness? We're going to explore this two ways. Number one, mindfulness. As we mentioned a few moments ago, every time we inhale, we have evolved to automatically access the middle bit of our spinal cord, which functions as the core of our sympathetic nervous system, which has evolved to help us to notice in a very special way. It has evolved to help us to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. All of them, be they external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. But what do we do with all that stuff that we noticed? That brings us to meditation. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we have evolved to automatically access both the tippy top as well as the very bottom of our spinal cord. These two extremes, working as a team, could be described as the core of our parasympathetic nervous system, and they have evolved to help us to physically relax and mentally release during each exhalation to such a degree that that which we noticed during our previous inhalation could fleetingly feel less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even as non-graspable as a vast empty void. When I was in the 4th grade at Platte Ranch Elementary School, I was taught that a simile is only as effective as it is relatable. Therefore, we must ask the question, what? What is a real-world example of a non-graspable, vast empty void? How about the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful, cloudless morn, which, although could look tantalizing to the eye, feels non-graspable to the hand? So we see that emptiness is just a metaphor for the visceral experience of non-graspability latent within each exhalation. But what about this thing about no self or not self? Think of it this way. Every time we relax into our exhalation, whatever experience of self or identity we might have experienced during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into utter non-graspability. That's all it means. It's just that simple. And it could do so just for a moment until the next inhalation when the cycle begins afresh. Please chant with me. Luminous minded and habits are one inseparably mixed. All manifested experiences are merely generated by mind, and shine as adornment, neither accepted nor rejected. So simply let it be and enjoy. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever experiences we might have noticed during our previous inhalation, be they external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque, could feel as if they were fleetingly less stressful, less permanent, less defining, and even as non-graspable as a vast empty void, at least for a moment, until our next inhalation and the cycle begins afresh together. Activity that is personally repugnant or culturally taboo, such as the 5 mental poisons or the 5 so-called unforgivable crimes, could feed the realization of powerful non-duality. For on this path of Hatha Yoga's purification, nothing is rejected, not even sex. There's nothing more purifying than noticing and relaxing in harmony with our breathing. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever virtue or vice we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel as if it was melting into the simplicity of just an action. Remember, the essence of morality is loving kindness, and the highest love is the spontaneous and uncontrived byproduct of noticing and relaxing in harmony with our breathing. Together. One's intellect could be harmfully conditioned by the elitism and rigidity of tradition and literalism, such as the 3 contrived analogues of samadhis, awareness, bliss, and love, as well as the dogmatic belief and doctrine, which are the delusions that undermine effortless transmission. Instead of let such folly, let us abide in the spontaneous pleasure of the spontaneous, free from great completion of Dzogchen. Since for approximately 300,000 years, our Paleolithic ancestors enjoyed a largely proto-communistic culture wherein the attributes of being flexible, loving, rational, laid-back, egalitarian, lucid, cooperative, and kind flourished. But summer turns to autumn, which turns to winter. And approximately 13,000 years ago, our Neolithic ancestors endured the rise of proto-capitalism that turned human ethics on their head and promoted the attributes of being rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, including humans, including meditation teachers. You will find the majority of meditation teachers you find are going to act and even proclaim that these attributes of being rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel are A-OK and peachy keen, but they really are not. Together. The core of semblance, spontaneous awareness, imperturbable, unchanging, and unelaborated, which is the ambrosia of the timeless consummation, that vanquishes the pain of any exertion, thus resting in the here and now. Every ambition is spontaneously fulfilled. It is very sad that the people we just outlined, the denizens of institutional Buddhism, in the name of being imperturbable, in the name of being unchanging, in the name of being unelaborated, indulge in the controlling tendencies and repress their thoughts and emotions. But that is not the path. What then is the path? Quite simple. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever perturbability or change or elaboration we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could feel fleetingly imperturbable, unchanging, and unelaborated, effortlessly, all by itself, due to the working, due to the dance, due to the interplay of our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. Together. Hey, magnificent one, listen all and everything in experience, which shares the same empty nature of the luminous mind. Is like an all-inclusive essential drop and capable of being controlled by the dualities of contemplation and concentration, expansion or contraction, generation or cessation, unconfined, it is simply being. This inconceivable essence chronologically present like the sky. Oh, here we go. And locationally everywhere present like space transcends ideas and speech. Together. The nature of multiplicity is non-dual, and things are naturally pure and simple. The essence of simplicity is noticing vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Being contrivancy in the here and now, shining out in all forms, it is always all good. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever good or bad we noticed during our previous inhalation, it feel as if it was simply melting into just being. The essence, the mindfulness and meditation are the dynamo that perfect our loving kindness, causing our choices and utterances and deeds to flow from love's deeply centered spontaneity. Together. Thus already complete exhortation is now redundant, and spontaneity of a natural. Having completed our opening recitation, let us now shift gears. For the, let's see, 55 minus 25 is 30. For the next 30 minutes, let us sit and breathe and notice and relax. The easiest way for us to gently invite or real or imagine subtle energies to coalesce at our crown is for us to use the tip of our left index finger to support the lower knuckle of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. Doing so is also an excellent way for us to keep track of our first collection of about 12 minutes. As we feel air enter our nostrils, let us silently and mentally recite the verb noticing. As we feel air exit our nostrils, let us silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing. Let us now I'm going to, the most ergonomic thing with your hands you can do is leave them in your lap. But I'm going to pick them up in front of the camera just so I can point things out to you. Let us consider our left hand. Once again, as a reminder, the tip of our left hand, the tip of our left index finger, supporting the lower index finger of our, the lower knuckle of our right index finger. Number one, this helps with our energy. Number two, this helps us keep track of our first collection of about 12 minutes. Our first collection of about 12 sets of 12 inhalations each. Let's look at that a little deeper. We can take the tip of our left thumb and touch it to the lower set of creases of its little finger. That helps us keep track of our first of 12 sets. Our first set of 12 inhalations. On our right hand, we count those actual inhalations. Every time we silently and mentally recite the verb noticing during our inhalation, we advance our right thumb across the sets of creases found on the underside of each of its fingers. Together, let us do this as a team right now. Having run out of sets of creases on our right index finger, it's time to return our attention to our left thumb and advance it to the next set of creases. And so now you get the basic idea of how we can count 12 sets of 12 inhalations each. If this seems overwhelming, just remember, repetition is the mother of skill. Come to these live streams once every 12 hours, and within a week, these techniques you can master. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions approximately once every 6 minutes or so. Checking for questions. To keep track of the beginning of our second collection of 12 sets of 12 inhalations, we can slide the tip of our left index finger up our right index finger, like until it comes to the second knuckle. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window, for I tend to check for questions about once every 6 minutes or so. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. For meditating like a Jedi is made possible thanks to the generosity of viewers just like you. In approximately 11 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's dawn recitation, explanation, and practice of meditating like a Jedi. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.